Hello there, and a very, very warm welcome to the Footgolf Association of England podcast show with me, Rob Lamarr. And I'll also be joined by Paul Boulton. He'll be here in just a second. I'll bring him in. We've got some great guests joining the show tonight, and Brolia and Nathan Appasamy. Lots to talk about. There's been a lot happening over the last few weeks since the last podcast. It's great that you're joining in. When we have our guests on a little bit later, do feel free to join in on the comments. And because they do come through into the studio, so you can join in with the comments. You can ask questions to our guests as well. We certainly look forward to them. But I did mention my co-host just a second ago, and he is now joining us, the Footgolf Association of England president. Please welcome Paul Boulton. Hello there, Paul. How are you?
Good evening, Rob. How are you? Very well, mate. Thank you.
Good. Well, here we go. It's episode 7 of the podcast show, and it's obviously a new look that we've gone for. Familiar sort of features, but we're just sort of evolving as we go, aren't we?
Yeah, same as everything, isn't it? We evolve, we move forward, and the graphics are amazing. There's already comments on there. It's fantastic. But yeah, it's about Footgolf. We're evolving it, we're moving it forward, and this is just another little step. And many more ideas in the pipeline.
Oh yes, we were having a chat before we came on air about some ideas that we've got for later in the year. So we'll keep those under the proverbial hat for now. Well, talking about tonight on tonight's show, we're going to bring up the tour events. We're going to talk about the club league matches. I know there's some more matches over this past weekend. The Euro Foot Golf, obviously Nathan, I guess, coming up. We'll probably bring that up again then, and obviously what that entailed, and obviously everything that is going on. Plus, of course, this is the first podcast since the Four Nations, which was won by England, wasn't it? I guess there's still many English foot golfers still celebrating.
Yeah, I think it was a tremendous weekend, wasn't it? I think for foot golf in general, I think it was very well received by everybody. I think the event was first class. Again, the staff at Ashbury, they just take foot golf to a different level. Their work they do, again, the more plans for the English Open, it just goes on and on. It's a pleasure to work with them, to be honest. But no, I think the event for foot golf, the standard was good. It was nice after getting beat by Scotland in the group stage as well. It was just nice to turn it round in the final. It was tight, as it always is with Scotland. They're a class outfit, aren't
they? They really are. And the way they were playing in that Four Nations, obviously they beat England. They beat Ireland. They beat Wales, and then obviously into the final. And it was just like, can you do it again? Can you keep it up? But it's always that it's always hard to beat someone again. In these sort of tournaments, and you see it regularly, like we see it at the World Cups, and we see it at other big events. It's like once one team has done really well, they go to play someone they beat maybe in the group stages, and it just doesn't work for them.
It's very difficult. It's just great,
and they all know each other, don't they?
the camaraderie is first class.
Yeah, I think obviously it was the first tournament that I've actually commentated on since last year, and that's one thing I did notice is like it was not just like it wasn't like England versus Scotland out there. There was no looking at each other as enemies. It was foot golf friend. It was a friendly rivalry. Everybody sort of spoke to each other and chatted and joined in the evenings. And I wish a lot of our people that are watching right now that might not have been at the events. The evenings are just like everyone's got together. It's like there's no colours. No club, no team, country colours was there.
Yeah, it's just that it's exactly what foot golf is, isn't it?
Yeah,
or what it should be. It's a togetherness. Everyone's friends, and it's the best part. It is the best part. We're all competitive. We all want to win. Every single one of us wants to win. But no, we there's a line, and at the evening time we have a beer together and socialise. But it was a great event, and the feedback. I know you were a big part of the social media team, the live coverage. I was getting the feedback that's come back to the association has been first class. It's, some real excellent comments. So that's a thanks to you, Chris, Rob, Sean, everyone who took part in that. It was hard work. We know it's hard work, don't we? But it's worth it.
It really was. Right, so that's the Four Nations talked about. That's the past. Let's go over some of the news that you're here to bring us.
Yeah, we've had a few events, obviously, since the Four Nations. We played at Oldham. I'm sure Ant will bring that one up because he was victorious there. So we'll skip over that one for now. We had a brand new venue in Swindon, the Wiltshire Hotel and Leisure. First time there. We had to postpone it due to the water back in March. So we finally got on it. A really good venue. They loved having us. Course went down well again. Carl Baker May running out victorious in that one. But it was, another good venue. Again, we're always searching. So it was a good one. And then last week we were down at Gatwick. First time we've been there this year. And a non-Gatwick winner, which surprised me.
Which doesn't happen often.
No, they're very strong on the Gatwick players. But yes. Kyle Brown victorious. Fantastic. Brilliant for Kyle. It was the past events, very successful. I think all barring Gatwick was sold out, but that was because there was probably 15 players over in Slovakia. Obviously, we'll touch on the Euro qualification when Nathan's in the room. But so just touching on what we've got coming up, really. Obviously, we've got the National Pairs event this weekend. That takes place.
That this weekend? Where's that?
That's at Appasamy Acres. So
I know well.
We go into there. It's a Category A pairs and a Category B individual in there. So some good points for those looking to qualify for the Euros, for the Brains Trust, for the regional teams. There's a million things to qualify for.
Who should we be looking out for in the pairs? I'm guessing it's going to be Duffy and Spink are going to be one of the favourites again.
They won it last year.
Yes.
I think Ant will have something to say about that. I think him and Benno will fancy it.
Mm-hmm.
Dave Shaw, Tom Williams, possibly. That's Steve Bastin, Max Baker. You've got
Steve Bastin's playing so well this season as well.
Wallbank, Dan James. I think never discard them two. They're a very strong pairing. So that's this week. The following week, the 3 weeks, then we get a break from the tour, and it's back to club action. The club league matches take place. There's so many. I'm not going to go through them all. I think there's about 15 matches over 3 weeks. All the info's on the website. And please have a look, get involved. I think the club league, obviously, we've returned this year after a 2-year absence. 200 players have played in club league this year already. 36% of them are brand new players, which I think we'd all agree this is what Footgolf needs. So people are getting involved. People are trusting the system. So I think we're doing something right.
That's really good. Well, we've been talking about them, and we talking about many events. Going, we'll talk about that in a bit when our guests come on. We'll talk about it in a bit when our guests come on. So I really think that maybe we should bring our guests on. We'll do this, and then luckily I'll be to the show. We've got a couple of guests joining us here today. The first off will be Nathan Appasamy, and we'll also have Brolia joining us as well. So I will just get ready to bring them to the stage, and I will say welcome, and Nathan. Hello, Jen.
I'd like to see I could hear you, but I've got a load of drumming noise in the background.
Trying to fade that out right now. Hold on. There it is. Wrong button I pressed.
Who put Rob in charge, eh?
Well, hello, gents, for joining us. Now, Paul's been saying about everything that's been going on with you two. Obviously, we started talking about the Four Nations right at the top of the show. You were both part of that incredible event. In fact, Nathan, I remember everybody was on hole 17.
Yeah.
You were on hole 16. You won hole 16, and I had to relay to everyone, Nathan's just putted and won it. And you weren't even there to join in all the celebrations. You turned up after, which is a bit of a shame. But it was like Nathan's won it, and it just incredible. So we'll start, Nathan, as you were there. How did it feel to be part of that winning team?
The Four Nations generally was amazing. I think the venue is one of the best in England. I think it clicked. It's been moving towards clicking for our England team for a while now, and the Four Nations was just the pinnacle, really. It was quite funny, actually, when I'd like to take credit for the winning part, but it wasn't me. It was Tom Underwood, my partner at the time, but I will take partial credit. And when he sang that part, we could hear all of you just going wild through the trees. I felt part of it, even though I wasn't. But later on, I watched it, and it was amazing. But yeah, generally, probably the best event I've been part of, just because we won it, but also just everything was just so good.
Yeah, it really was. And there's obviously a lot of footage from the Four Nations. And I think on the first day, there was a putt on hole 4 that lives long in my memory. It was incredible.
Yeah, it's the only putt I made all weekend, so it's living long in my memory as well. But no, just
one I saw.
Yeah. Echo what Nathan said. Look, Four Nations. I think for anyone playing foot golf, whether it's social or whether you take it very serious, I think when you do put on the England shirt and you play against other countries, it's always the pinnacle, and you always get to play at the best courses with the best run events and the best atmosphere, and should be the aim for everyone. And for the people that do get to experience it here and there, it's definitely the most enjoyable experience that you do get in the sport, for sure.
It really is. Well, you were saying putting on the shirt there. Obviously, we've got Nathan in his shirt.
Yeah.
And we've just had Grimbridge just made looking like a public school headmaster. There's a couple of comments about Nathan's. Nathan just got in from school. But there we go. Very smart, Nathan. He has
you know what? Someone with some class stepping in. So thank you.
He has put us a little bit to shame today. I was like, I thought, no, I'm not wearing a jacket today. It's a chance for me to actually dress down. And you are obviously the tour leader at the moment as well. So we had in our notes one win, to which you promptly corrected us. That's three wins. It's the quickest I've ever had a reply to a WhatsApp message ever.
Yeah.
So you've quickly put 3 in there as well. So obviously out there at the top, do you prefer being in that first position, going right? Okay, everyone else is going to have to chase me down here.
Do you know what? I just had sort of aims at the season where I wanted to, do myself proud in the sense of perform to the ability I know that I can perform to. If I look back at last year, I made a great start as well. I was top for a little period last year, and then Carl Baker May just went into another gear and started winning every single weekend, which for all of us was pretty boring. But it's enjoyable. I think it comes with pressures. I think I'm finding that recently. I'm going into weekends knowing I'm at the top, and there comes with pressure with that. People are looking at where you are on the leaderboard, where other people are on the leaderboard, and taking notice. When your name's in certain positions, people will take notice a little bit more at what score you shoot, how you're performing. If you don't perform, there's always a joke, to be had and things like that. Whereas sometimes you can go under the radar if you don't put yourself in those spots. But I enjoy it. I think the tour's getting stronger and stronger every single week. Like Bolt just mentioned a minute ago, great for sort of Carl Brown to get a win at the weekend. I know my pairs partner, Benno, he won an event a few weeks ago, which was his first tour event win. And I think the more the tour gets like that, the better for the sport. If you watch golf at the weekend, you could never pick a winner. If you was to pick a winner in the golf, you'd never pick one. And I think foot golf is slowly getting towards that stage now where you can have 15 to 20 winners up for option at the weekend. And everyone wants that. No one wants the same person to be winning all the time. And the more competitive it gets and the more the sport grows, that's why it's so good with the club league. Like Bolt's mentioned, 200 people playing this year. 34%, I think you mentioned, new players, and the more that they come through club league and onto the tour, the more competitive the tour can become with the new players. And I think for me, the sport's only going in one direction. It's getting stronger every single week. We're getting new venues. It's a really great place to be, for sure.
Yeah, it is going really well, and from strength to strength. And I like what you're saying about the not being able to predict a winner, and that's great for the sport in general, not just from my side, looking sort of into the sport, which is I sort of quite enjoy, is the fact that I can look and I go, in the past you'd look and you go, oh, so and so is going to win that, so and so is going to win that, as the fields tended to get. There was a point where the fields, I noticed, got smaller, and it was a familiar few constantly. But what's been happening over the last few years, and I'm going to congratulate Paul on this one, and the whole sort of Footgolf Association of England, is that the fields have got bigger, but not just bigger being filled up with just players. They're just playing and just doing fun. They're players that come in with a real desire to want to play, to improve, and they are actually improving. And like I'm saying, it's really making it a tough to get to the top, to stay at the top, and to continue staying there as well. So Paul, huge congratulations to you and the whole team on that. As I say, looking in from my position, it's great commentating as well, because then I'm going, all these different people getting involved as well. But of course, it's always great to see the top players like yourselves, Ant and Nathan, and you, Paul. Just not going to leave you out just on that one. But it is great to see you sort of really rising to the challenge. And I think that's what you're both doing, isn't it?
For sure. And I think Footgolf's in a weird place at the minute worldwide. You have the World Tour, which sometimes can't be accessible to every single player in the world. If you want to travel around Europe playing every single event or World Tour events, I think you get the unhidden gems that don't maybe get their name out there, which obviously Nathan, I think, proved at the weekend when he went to Slovakia, played in the major, done himself really proud with a great result. But there may have been people that had never seen Nathan before or played with him in his group. And you don't really see the talent until it gets put out there. It's the same at the Four Nations, I think one of the most impressive people who I was impressed with at the weekend was Patton and Bryce as a pair, maybe a pair that you don't get to see often, but they went into the weekend and they were just pushing people aside that maybe bigger names in the sport or more well-known names. But you don't get those opportunities until it comes to you, if you know what I mean. Nathan going out to Slovakia or Patton and Bryce in the England team. And that's what's so great about the sport, is no one knows the full strength until you do put yourself out there. So it's great to see.
Well, as you mentioned, Nathan, out in Slovakia just a second ago, I don't know if everybody's seen this yet, but we have got this. From Nathan, that woo at the end there, was that you?
Yeah, it was me. Yeah, I was. In my defense, I was playing so well, it transcended my usual clapping of self. I had to start wooing because I didn't know what to do. Very unusual, honestly. Those are the levels. Slovakia was incredible, but the levels are. It's a cliche, but especially like golf, inches, literally millimeters define whether you push up the table or you slip down. And the level of consistency, the focus, that even I was whooping and hollering. So,
and you mentioned obviously what you did in Slovakia, but what does that mean? Because there might still be people watching right now that don't know exactly what that means for the England team. What does it mean?
Well, basically, for that weekend was a European qualifying weekend, and obviously with the breakup of the UK, we all had to qualify for our places. We had 5 representatives out in Slovakia, Nathan being one, Ben Clark, Tom Williams, Joseph Kepster and Max Baker made up the 5. The top 4 collective scores over the first 2 days gave you a country score, and the top 7 from 12 qualified. So it was comfortable on the Friday. We were all at Gatwick, obviously. The Saturday was a roller coaster. I didn't particularly enjoy it at times, but no, the boys did good. They did us proud. it created a great atmosphere at Gatwick as well, to be honest. It was a brilliant, brilliant day. I'll let Nathan give you the details, but it was tremendous.
Yeah. Tell us more, Nathan.
Yeah, so exactly. So Friday went well. I think shout out, as Paul said, to all of my teammates, Joe, Max, Tom, and Ben. Friday we played solidly. That was on the blue course, which, while still super difficult, it's slightly more forgiving than the red course. Then on Saturday we went out on the red course, and it is punishing. And I think at points cumulative scores meant we were maybe out. I think that's what the messages were telling me. But most of the time when I play foot golf, especially in comps, I do not look at my phone really. I just try and focus on the game. But I did have a sneaky look at my phone, and I just unlocked, and I had 200 messages. I thought, I'm not looking at that. So I put it in my bag, and I thought I need to concentrate on taking par here and not about what's going on. But it was a grind, and I've got to say, I think we did really well. The camaraderie, the quality in our group that were over there was excellent. We didn't panic, but I have to say, at the end of Saturday, I was relieved.
He was relieved as well, Nath.
Yeah, the countries that were in qualification are all superb. So to watch each of those countries fretting shows you how difficult it was, because at any moment errors could cascade, your scores could just triple. The cumulative effect of all players' scores were the top 4 of the 5. But I wouldn't say I was happy Saturday, but I was definitely relieved. And then it turned to happiness. So yeah, it was very good. No, but in all honesty, it means a lot to get this England team to the Euros, because we should be there. It's going to be immense. The levels at this Euros will be immense, but we deserve to be there, and we've got a chance. So it meant everything to do it. One reason I put myself forward for it is I felt I could contribute. So I was very happy, because it was not easy.
Yeah, you always contribute, mate. Never in doubt.
Smashed it.
So just to add on to the back of that, so for those that don't know, that now qualifies us for the Euro Foot Golf, which takes place in Turkey on between the 7th and 13th of December this year. So we are now, we're heavily into the qualifying stage. The qualifying completes at the English Open. So we're not, we got 5 or 6 point scoring events left. So it's a team is starting to build. So we're planning. Myself and Groomy have sat down. We're looking at the flights, etc., etc. So yeah, the Euros here we come, and nobody will want to play us.
Yeah,
definitely not. There's Debbie Brajnikov just messaging in saying that you did amazing, Nathan. The rest of the team, congratulations. All absolutely deserve to be there. Echoing your sentiments there, Paul, as well. And there's the England captain giving you a message as well. Really nice. Now, of course, if you've got any questions for our esteemed panel, it's a panel guests, then please put them in, and we'll relay those across while we're still here. When there's, we have a loose time frame for the show. It's if we overrun, we overrun. So be it. We all love talking about foot golf. While we are talking about obviously something just here, I just want to mention that obviously this is the podcast show. I hope you're enjoying it so far. And if you or someone, a business that would like to sponsor the podcast show, please do get in touch. You'll be able to contact us via any of the socials and get in touch about sponsoring the podcast show, which will obviously be a great help and help us to expand it even further than we already are. So I just thought I'd get that in. Also, like and share. That helps the reach and the growth as well, especially you're watching on YouTube, which many of you will be, or many of you are, I should say as well, and obviously the replays on those too. Thank you very much. There we go. Got the advert in.
Just tell that Rob's worked in TV.
Almost like the old adverts, isn't it? It's like you're watching, sponsored by. I think I want to do that.
Yeah, JVC or whatever it's called.
Yes, exactly. So we see if we can get someone in. We did have. Obviously, we showed a little video of Nathan a short while ago. We couldn't find the one that you did, but we did find this.
Brolia, wow. Sets it on its way. That's a nice weight as well. That looks a fantastic putt. That looks a fantastic putt. He says, Bobby, whatever you can do, I can do better, son.
And Brolia. There we go. We can't have one of our guests having a putt without showing the other as well. Was that the Southwest Open?
That was the Southwest of the Wiltshire.
Yeah.
How did you do on that, Anne?
I actually can't remember.
Okay, move on.
It's just
I can bring up the rankings if you need, and I know you're sitting top, but it's got all the results if you need it. Just
no, it wasn't. I wasn't my greatest performance on the Sunday. Great course. Nothing bad to say about it. I just never got going. It was one of those courses where there wasn't many guaranteed birdies. There wasn't many guaranteed sort of eagle opportunities. You started on hole one. It was a really tough par at times into the wind, and it felt like one of those events where if you got into a rhythm, you stayed in it. But if you didn't get into your rhythm, you never really got going. And that was sort of the story of the weekend for me. But it was a great event, great course, just tough, very tough. And that's what these new courses all are bringing to the tour. If you look back 2-3 years ago about what the courses were around the UK, Bolts has added so many new courses, which were all brilliant, including sort of Ashbury and the Southwest, which are all great places. But yeah, never got going, Rob. Never got going.
All right. We'll move on. Questions come in. There we go. There's the England captain. He's asking, who is the player to look out for this season? Nathan will ask you.
Oh wow! So I would shout out. I do think Bobby Hopkinson. I think look out for him because he's playing really well. Has all the tools needed to be a top player. And then second to that, I think Luke Underwood and Tom Underwood. I think that Luke especially is hitting some form, and Luke is a weapon when he's on it because he has everything in his game. Long, aggressive off the tee, crazy recovery shots, and unflappable. And Tom as well. Tom, when he hits consistency, is like his brother, but just more consistent and less risky, less anxious to watch. I would say those three. But it's like Ant said earlier, the quality is growing each season. Everyone's feeding off each other. Everyone's learning from each other about how you play under pressure, what you need to do. But I would say those three. And also, I'm on the show with him, but I'd say Ant is playing superbly this season. And I think he is a weapon as well. I would label you a weapon if that's okay, Ant.
I think he'll like that. And any other names to add to
that? Yeah, I think I've been impressed by many people this season. You've got Steve Baston, who I didn't get a chance to play with last year. He joined the tour quite late, but really impressive this year. I think he strikes the ball really clean, really long, without having to put too much effort in, which is also a real help on the long courses. Had multiple rounds with Bobby this year, and you do know about it when you finish. Your head is throbbing. But we get into many of the drive-off competition, and again, great player. Really football technically gifted, I'd say. Strikes a ball probably cleaner than anyone else on the tour. And I think when he brings his game together, that's when we see the results we've seen this year, where he's took sort of victories and, played really solid. And then just your usual names, Nathan, Dan James, always up there, really consistent. Dan James has probably got, again, one of the most consistent games in Footgolf. You never really see him, I can admit myself, there'll probably be a weekend you see me top 3 and the next week I'm 16th. But with Dan, he's just so consistent in what he delivers. And then you can't not mention Carl Baker May. He's lurking down there due to a few events not being played yet. But for sure, you'll see him climb the leaderboard as soon as possible, for sure.
Paul, I'm going to ask.
Bolts, there's a reason I didn't mention Benno, because he texted me yesterday saying, you better mention me on the podcast. I'm trying to deliberately not mention Benno.
I didn't mention Benno because he was my everything last season as a pair, and he just... So we deliberately didn't mention Benno.
Yeah. All in the senior tour.
I'll put the seniors in. I think, to be fair, obviously Cookie, he's obviously out injured at the minute, so bad luck for him. But the one he's performing, Mark Nicholson.
Yeah,
his results speak volumes. The qualification's getting quite interesting. Joseph Kepster's come into the seniors doing very well, but he strikes long, which is a big asset in the seniors. Phil Prajanikov, always lurking round, never goes. But probably the most notable one, Mark Eagleston. He's back. Yeah. He's fit. He's playing well. He's leading the over 55 tour quite comfortably at the minute. Now, Eagles stand out for me this year so far. I think he's a credit from where he's been. He's bounced back. He's got himself back where he should be. And I hope he qualifies for the Euros because he'd be a fantastic asset to the seniors.
For sure.
And I must just mention the two women I've been impressed with, the Sarah White and Michaela Hill, both been playing some incredible football. Really improved. Sarah White, her driving of the ball has gone, and Michaela Hill's putting, but they're both just vastly improved in the women's game.
Michaela again, she's proved at the weekend. She beat Claire at the Four Nations, which not many people do.
Yeah.
And I think Claire was trailing at the break on Sunday. I think Claire ended up beating her by 2 shots in the end, but Michaela's improving massively. And it's great to see, but she's playing regular. She's got a smile on her face. So, yeah, it's really good to see.
To be honest, at the Four Nations, shout out to Michaela. I saw her do one of an approach shot to a foot on hole 17 against Claire, one of the best shots I've ever seen. And that shows the levels because Claire is excellent.
Yeah, it was. I think many people, when they went, oh, Michaela's beat Claire, because not many people expect that. And she's been doing it ever since.
Just on that as well, I think the one thing to mention is, I think we saw, and I would use the word maybe dominance loosely from Claire over the years of how good she was in terms of World Tour, European, UK. Going to events and winning, 9 times out of 10. And I think you have to give a shout out to Michaela for persevering and improving, because it's very, very easy when you feel like you're maybe being beaten every week, or where maybe you feel like maybe someone is better and it's a really big gap, and to persevere and actually improve on your game and go out and make, those improvements, and then bring the gap to what it is now in a sense of losing to Claire by 2 at Gatwick is a real phenomenal feat, and being ahead at the turn. And again, like we just said, winning in an 18-hole match play at Four Nations is a phenomenal result. And I think that's a real good shout out to Michaela for sort of persevering and really, really closing that gap.
Yeah,
because that's not easy. That's not easy to do. It's really not.
No, it really is. I want to turn attention to the club league right now, and I've got Nathan. You play in, and obviously you both playing in the club league. Nathan playing for Richings Park. I've got my Richings Park shirt here. I haven't played for years, and if you stick around to the end of the video, and we've got a surprise lined up for that. But Carlo messaging saying when you're going to hit under 20 at Richings Park, but also Groomy has messaged in saying, how is it having the club league back? Obviously bringing that team component to the tour. Throw it out there. You can all answer that. Go on.
I'll start. I'm having the time of my life playing for Richings. I have to say, the club league being brought back, I think, is excellent. It provides the right. Do you know what? It allows people to play who can't necessarily, for whatever reasons, logistics, or maybe they don't want in some ways, the pressure of playing on the national tour, the difficulty to have a competitive element, and the camaraderie, especially at Richings Park. Shout out to the Richings Park players. Shout out to El Capitan, our benevolent tyrant Carlo. And in answer to his question, I will beat -20. I will at some point. He's always watching me, and I always fail. But yeah, I've loved it. So I think, I know what I think, when we're on the national tour, you see the people in the team who are playing club league, the camaraderie, the bond. I think it raises the levels, and it's excellent to see.
Yeah, I can't get back. I can't wait to be able to get back and kick a ball again. Carlo's always saying, "Are you? Richings Park's the closest course to me. Are you going to come and play? You're going to go play outside?" As soon as I get my knees sorted out, it's been far too long, sort of hobbling around, scars all over them. But fingers crossed, it was the last operation.
Carlo waits around the course. I swear, Carlo waits on the course with a clipboard in hand, and he's always ready to sign people up, appearing out of nowhere. I've seen it with my own eyes. That's why
I turned up at a random time and he's been there. It's like you're there. He's like just watching, just in case. And you play for Cambridge as well. How's that going there as well? I've had great memories of playing against the Cambridge team.
Yeah. Funny enough, that's how I started in foot golf. So came in through Club League 5 seasons ago, and I think you see that so much more now with Club League. Like Bolt said with the numbers earlier, 200 players, 34% or very close to being new players on the tour, and it gives a great pathway for someone to come into the sport without maybe the added costs of having to stay in a hotel the night before, playing 2 days of the weekend. And I think once you get that bug for the sport, that's what will bring people into the sport at maybe a tour level. But even if they don't come onto the tour, it still improves the numbers at that Club League friendly atmosphere, which still gets competitive. We played against Utoxa a couple of weeks ago, and Daz Marshall's the captain there. So we can all imagine how the competitive nature of that game went. But it's a great atmosphere. It's a great vibe. It's a great introduction to the sport, especially with, bringing kids down. Jamie Cullen brought Mason down. And he's now played a couple of tour events as well. So it shows that, having that Club League introduction at maybe like a foundation level of the sport definitely does give a pathway to more levels of the game and, to the very top for sure.
And Cambridge have a legit team. They're going to be a handful at the league finals.
Yeah.
We're going to win, Nate, don't worry. But I look forward to it.
Paul, bringing back the Club League, obviously I know you was involved with it in its first incarnation as well, and bringing it. So was that something that you were really looking to try and do?
Yeah, when we first set up the association, we sat and discussed it. It was too much work to keep everything running. It was just, we were trying to do too much. We've moved so fast. It's been really stressful, to be honest. We're so busy. But we made a decision, we parked the Club League for a couple of years. We have to do it. We can't physically do it. So I think now's the right time to come back. And like Ant said, the numbers are proving that. The new players that are coming about, new clubs, there's London Footgolf Centre. They're all brand new. It's brilliant. And they're really enjoying it. Paul Francis is running that. Paul's been around foot golf longer than I have. So, yeah, it is good to see. There's certain areas we need to do some work. But players are coming. The female game, they're coming. They're there. The juniors. Gatwick had 6 juniors at the weekend, which doesn't sound a lot, but it is a lot, because we've never really had the junior element. And everybody starts in Club League. I think if you go to most people came into this game in this country through Club League.
And the juniors at Gatwick was probably one of the most spectated groups. You had all the dads watching their sons play. There's probably 10 of us on the fairway watching because the group went out together in the kids section, which was great to watch. Really, really good to watch. For the juniors playing around Gatwick, competitive, fiery. Just everyone watching that was real testament to the sport for sure. Really, really, really good to see.
Yeah, so I think Club League's important. Like I say, I was around the day it was invented, and it's brilliant. There's no other word for it. It's brilliant. If you're not involved, get involved because you'll love it. It is for everybody. It really, genuinely is.
And that's a great thing to end it on. Thank you very much. I'm going to say a big thank you to Ant and to Nathan for joining us on the show. One thing, just before you go, we had a load of photographs that you saw at the beginning in the opening titles as well. You notice there was a big smiling one from Nathan, and it was really difficult to find one smiling of Ant. In fact, I couldn't. Look, in fact, even here.
Oh, look at that.
Look at that.
Yin and yang.
It is, yeah.
Not one. I was saying to Paul, I was creating everything, trying to get, and I was like, I couldn't find. It took me ages.
We should have just asked Rob. I'd have sent you a selfie.
I should have. Next time, man. And it's been a pleasure having you on the show, Nathan. Yeah. It's just been brilliant as well. We'll definitely do it again sometime in the very near future. I wish you all the very best of luck at your coming events, and just all the best, ladies and gentlemen. Nathan Appasamy and Brolia.
Cheers, guys.
And a round of applause as well. There we go. They're like, oh, more! Stop! They're so good, so good. Paul, wonderful show. Thank you so much for inviting me in to become the host of it as well. It's been a great first show. Really, really enjoyed it. Loads of comments and questions coming in as well. And thanks for all the updates on everything that's been going on.
Not a problem, mate. Thank you very much. It's something I've always wanted to do. I've wanted to do this for 3 years. We've already started it, as you well know, and now we just evolve and move forward. So yeah, thank you, and thank you everyone for watching. Without you, we don't have a show. So we need the people.
We do indeed. And again, if there are any comments, there's any suggestions, then obviously we'd love to hear from them. If you've got anything you don't like about it, you keep that to yourself. Anything else? That's about it. Now, I did mention I'm going to let Paul go. I will do the finish off there. Paul, I'll catch up with you later.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. So far, Paul has gone. It's just you and me now. I did say there was a little surprise coming up at the end of the video. I'll hold that in just a second. Once again, if you would like to sponsor the show, someone that would lend their support to it, please do get in touch. FGAEengland.com is the website. You can contact someone through there or via social media and send the messages, and they will help it all out. And once again, thank you for joining me and the rest of the team over the last couple of hours. Now, I did say there was a surprise. Now, the surprise was when I was asked to put the show together. I was asked. I was like, "You commentate. You haven't played foot golf for ages." And I was like, "I haven't. I really haven't." So I found some clips of me playing foot golf, and I'm going to show. So I'm going to end the show with a few of those into the titles. Once again, thank you so much for joining us. All your comments, please do like, share, and subscribe. And I'll see you all on the very next Footgolf Association of England. I was going to do the letters, much easier to say it. Footgolf Association of England podcast show. Until then, do take